Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boylesports, Gowran Park Racecourse, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds.
As they race up the hill towards the finish, Hart the Herald here on Perry Pass has absolutely bolted up under Paul Town, and Perry Pass won by wide margin. On the final 150 yards, it's Irish Point for Marie National, who's coming with every stride. They're going to the line. Irish Point, Marie National on the near side.
If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Champ.ie YouTube channel, as it helps to get horse racing content out there to the wider audience. We look forward to reading all your hashtag 5cast selections in the comments section below. Enjoy the show. Hello, and you're all very welcome along to Season 6, Episode 1 of Champ.ie. It's a brand new season, and Barry Doyle is still in the hot seat. Barry, it's great to be back.
Absolutely, David. Really looking forward to the season, the show. And I suppose first thing on the agenda, David, a very warm welcome to EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds, new partners for the season, to go alongside, of course, Gowran Park, the premier racecourse in the southeast of Ireland, and Boylesports, our betting partner. Here's a look at the agenda, Dave. We're going to kick off, I suppose this show is going to be very much 10 jumpers to follow. We'll hear from Sam Ewing and Down Royal. I suppose, look, obviously a big part of Gordon Elliott's season every single year, and Shamrock Thoroughbreds as well. We'll get an update as well from Stephen Torn, which is the man at the helm at Shamrock Thoroughbreds, and he's going to give us weekly updates as well, David. Looking forward, I suppose, to the action at Dundalk. He's plenty of entries tomorrow, and then obviously best bets at the end. But really looking forward to it. 55 shows, I think, scheduled, and you're very much in the hot seat, Dave. Yourself, you're the driver.
Yes, and we're looking forward to it. National Hunt season, very much looking forward to the spills and trills that come with the National Hunt racing, and it is great to be back. Right, well, this show is all about as you said, the jumpers to follow. We've picked out 10 of them, and you're going to talk us through them. We're going to start off firstly with a horse by the name of Caroline Bamboo. It's the first one we're going to take a look at ahead of the new season.
Yeah, I'd say Gerri Hannon is going to have full fun with this one, Dave. Caroline Bamboo. We'll preempt that. But look, I think, JP McManus, the team of horses he had last season, obviously in the novice chase department last year in particular, but novice hurdlers this year, I think he's going to be particularly strong. And he splashed the cash with a couple of French recruits. And this is one, look, you could mention plenty. And Willie Mullins is a full, I suppose, army of them lining up in Close Sutton, but just a couple. Obviously, we're going to start with the French recruits, 2 for Willie, 1 for Henry de Bromhead. But the first horse, as you mentioned, Caroline Bamboo, she really caught my eye, David, when winning on the level at Fontainebleau. And that was over 1.6 miles on quite testing ground. Similar to Jade de Grugy, she's a 4-year-old going novice hurdling this season. And I think the key thing to mention is, look, Jade de Grugy last year, she hadn't actually run over herds, but I think this filly could be made for it. She's certainly bred for jumping. 4-year-old daughter of No Risk at All. She's had 4 runs. She's a nice bit of experience as well on the level. And I thought that exact same race that Caroline Bamboo finished second in last time was a race that was actually won by Epatante, who was also by No Risk at All back in 2017, and Irish Point won the exact same race in 2021. So obviously they turned out to be very classy hurdlers. I liked what I saw. I liked the way she shaped. I'd say she's made for a hurdle. And look, one of about 10 Mayor's Novice Hurdle contenders, I think, this year for Willie Mullins. But she just caught my eye, the Caroline Bamboo. And look, I suppose, she was trained by Seb Zuliani. The form has worked out of that run from Fontainebleau, with, I suppose, the winner going on to win since. And JP McManus has bought her privately. So scope for jumping. I'm not saying she's going to win the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, but I'd say she could end up being a contender, David. And Caroline Bamboo, as Gerri Hannon would say, I think is the first horse to follow for the year.
Yeah, the second horse we're going to look at is a Rob Corr-owned horse, trained by Henry de Bromhead, a horse by the name of Kill Game.
Yeah, Kill Game, David, and this really caught my eye in France on its sole start. We're going to look at a couple of horses now that ran at a toil. This was second in the exact same race that Vatour won back in 2013. And this just really caught my eye. Jumped neatly, was held up off the pace, was ridden to run well, shall we say, and ended up, finishing second. But the front two pulled a good bit clear. of the rest of the field. Cass Conti was the winner on that occasion. That's since come out and won at grade 2 level in France. So I think the form is actually quite good, and the form has worked out well in behind as well. But as I said, this is a big black beast for the season ahead. I think it'll be a lovely novice hurdle. I love the way it's shaped, and I said there's a lot more to come. By sire at the moment as well, Jusin Elwa, if my French is right, Dev.
Yeah, not so bad at all. Well, if Gerri Hannon is going to have a lot of fun with Caroline Bamboo, he's certainly going to have a lot of fun as well with Cowabunga, the next one we look at. And once again, another one for Willie Mullins.
Cowabunga, I think, as Tony Mullins called it on the At the Races show. It was the one that went viral on At the Races, wasn't it? After Tony Mullins give it a big talking up. Look, obviously, this run at its all as well, and was placed in its sole start. Was a big eye catcher for me, David. Between the second last and the last, made up plenty of ground, and off the back of the last, just stormed home. Not short of stamina. I'm not sure if this will be a supreme type or maybe one to maybe shape into something like a Ballymore or Gallagher novice hurdle winner. 33-1 for the Ballymore, or for the Gallagher novice hurdle as it's called now. Next season at Cheltenham. I just loved it done from the back of the second last. I think this is a nice horse. I think Tony might have steered us in the right direction here. And obviously bought by JP as well. So another nice novice hurdler for JP in the green and gold, and trained by Willie Mullins. So not by the most recognisable sire, 4-year-old son of Tunis, but trained by a master. Of course, the French champion trainer, Francois Nicole, obviously handled Cowabunga, but now in the care of Willie Mullins, Steph.
Yes, and you speak about JP McManus as well. He had some team of horses to go to war with from last season into this season. These new recruits, they're really adding the firepower to the green and gold colours this season. Right, what about Salvador Monday? He's the next one we're going to take a look at.
Yeah, he's the next on the list, and I suppose, look, these are two really nice novice hurdle prospects we're going to mention for Willie Mullins next. And Salvador Mundy, 12-1 for the Supreme. What's the key thing with Salvador Mundy? The fact that he has experience last year. He's the second season novice. He's retained that status. He's been well spoken about now at this stage, but I think rightfully so. He's towards the head of the market for the Supreme Novices hurdle. I think he's a real nice type, and I thought interestingly, look, obviously he was second in France, Sergino. Who's now rated 151 over hurdles. So if you take that literally, that's really good form coming into his second season as a novice hurdler. But I just absolutely, what did he beat is the question. Probably very little, but he bet them by 62 lengths, Dave, on the absolute snaff down in Tipperary. I know you've been telling me for years Tipperary form. Well, this is Tipperary form, and this horse absolutely bolted up back in May. They got one more run into him after the Triumph Hurdle debut for Willie Mullins. He actually ran well on his debut for Willie in the Triumph Hurdle, jumped well, travelled into the race nicely, and probably just got tired, The tongue strap was on that occasion. Interestingly, it was left off. Maybe did it tinker with the wind, etc.? What was the thoughts behind that? The tongue strap was left off at Tipperary. It was just in a completely different lead to the others. Willie's mentioned the Royal Bond. I'd say nicer ground, you'll see a better horse. Salvador Mundy. You shouldn't underestimate him. There'll be plenty of horses that will spring up over the winter. This horse could be put away off the back of the Royal Bond for nicer ground maybe in the spring. But Salvador Mundy, for me, I think is a horse definitely to follow. Don't underestimate him, Dave. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I think he's a beautiful horse. You're right. And you were mentioning the form of Tipperary. You look back over the years of horses, good horses that have run in Tipperary, and even horses that run good horses close there. They always come out. It's a great track to follow horses and going on in their careers. And as I said, horses that also, get beaten there. They come out and they run really well elsewhere. But I love this horse. I think you're 100% right. I think Salvador Mundy could be a real star the coming season. Exactly your thoughts as well. Mightn't have beaten an awful lot, but as the old saying goes, you beat what puts in front of you, and that's what he did.
The time was really good, by the way. I know maybe the quality in the race itself, but it's come home alone. But the sectionals, the last, I suppose the sectional times in Salvador Mundy, the timesmen have been raving about him. So I think the hype is real there.
Yeah, I think so. And you know what? The clocks don't lie. That's very much the way a lot of it's gone now, isn't it? The finishing kick, the middle part of a race, all of that is so key. But at the end of the day, he's done it to the eye as well, very impressively. Right, we've two more to take a look at before we take our first break. And the first one of those is a horse by the name of Sound Victorious.
Yeah, Sound Victorious, maybe not the most flashy type, Dave, but actually does have grade 1 form in bumpers last year. You know, ran an absolutely lovely race, I thought, in the Champion Bumper, was up there on the pace. If you actually look at the race, the Champion Bumper went off 66-1. Sean O'Keefe was on board, one of many runners in the race for Willie. But, you know, he was up there in the van, to use the old phrase, Dave, for a long time. And if you look at, I suppose, the finishers, a lot of them came from behind the Champion Bumper. There wasn't too many that were ridden close to the pace that actually stayed there. This finished fourth. Got outpaced, I suppose, turning in, but I thought came up the hill lovely. So that's course form. It's grade 1 form. And backed it up at Punchestown on ground I don't think that probably suited. So for me, Lecky Watson 2.0, Dave. Sound Victorious, 3 miles and N10 gallop over hurdles back at Cheltenham. I'd say he could be a contender maybe for an Albert Bartlett. Softer ground, the better, I'd say, for him. But I think he's a nice type, Sound Victorious. And a Champs-Élysées out of presenting mare, what's not to like?
Absolutely, absolutely. And certainly has all the credentials to be a very, very nice type this season as well. Right, we're going to take a look at one more before we go into our first break on the show. And let it rain, please. Maybe there's lots of people at the moment shouting for rain because, as we've seen in the last couple of days, Thurles, which is unheard of this time of year, to be no racing there. But due to ground conditions, that's what's happening. So this horse, we look at Let It Rain, for a lot of trainers, that might be the shout just at the minute. Yeah,
I'd say this could be the best mare prospect that Britain has seen for quite some time. Obviously, you know, Love Envoy flew the flag for Britain in the mares novice and mares hurdle division for a couple of seasons, but I think this is one we're going to be hearing a lot more about. The Skeltons are raving about her. She's very, very good, is the phrase after she won it at Ascot. You know, she really put the geldings to the sword on her second start. And I just loved the way she picked up and went to the line. I thought it was really visually impressive from Let It Rain. And I'd say she's one that she's going to take very, very much high rank. I wouldn't be afraid to see her up against the geldings again this season, but they might keep her to her own sex. I think she's the leading British novice mares hurdle contender for the season. And that form looks strong from the listed race back in the 22nd of December. We haven't seen her since, but I'd say she's going to be an absolutely top prospect, this Let It Rain, daughter of Cave Tara for the Skelton team, who are absolutely flying at the moment, Dave.
Absolutely can do no wrong. And one of the horses to follow for me for the year is a Skelton horse, which we will tell you about before the end of the show. Right, into our first ad break we go, and we'll be back with you in a couple of moments.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds have taken owners all over the world.
Tiger Bell in front, holds them. Late on the scene is Dawn Charger storming home, but Tiger Bell in front and one.
Coming through the centre, Laugh a Minute with a strong challenge on this Laugh a Minute, who goes on in the closing stages to win by a length and a half. Laugh a Minute from Fiscal Roots.
But it's Harry's Bar repelling the late challenge of the stable companion Dream Today, and Harry's Bar makes it 6 course wins.
Check out shamrockthoroughbreds.com or click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description to learn more about new racehorse ownership opportunities. Gowran Park Racecourse, the premier racetrack in the southeast of Ireland, is located on the outskirts of Kilkenny City. Gowran Park is your number one choice for corporate days out, stag and hen party events, and an overall great local racing experience. Known as the race that stops the county, the famous Goffs Thyestes Chase 2025 takes place on Thursday the 23rd of January. With packed crowds expected once again this January, you can book your early bird tickets online today. Visit gowranpark.ie online, click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description, or scan the QR code on screen to purchase right now. Eddie and the team look forward to welcoming you to Gowran Park this winter.
150 odds to go. Glengooley, and ain't that a shame from Angel's Dawn? Ain't that a shame is going on to win the Goffs Thyestes, pulling out every stop from Glengooley.
Yes, brilliant to have Shamrock Thoroughbreds, of course, on board with us this season. And David, of course, as the adverts mentioned there, from everywhere from Dundalk all the way through to the Galway races, obviously had that group 3 winner as well at Longchamp and the Breeders' Cup as well. It's certainly a syndicate on the up, and we'll be hearing from Stephen Torn later on the show. And most weeks that he has runners, of course, at Dundalk, which is almost every single Friday in the winter. So it's really exciting to have Shamrock on. And I really look forward, David, as well, to heading up west to get kitted out next Tuesday. EJ Menswear have kindly come on board, and we won't be short for a suit at Gowran Park on Thyestes Day, will we? I muted you, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just saying it's great to have Shamrock Thoroughbreds. It's going to be lovely to have that input as well into maybe a winner on a Friday night from Dundalk with Shamrock Thoroughbreds. And EJ Minsware, yes, looking forward to getting the suit and the kit for the year ahead for the racing action, and particularly down at Thyestes Day down in Gowran Park. So a big welcome to all our sponsors, and of course the Boylesports as well, on board with us again this season, as well as Gowran Park. And we're looking forward to just a brilliant year. Right, let's kick on, because we've another 4 horses to look at, potential superstars for the year ahead. Paul Nicholls has the next one we look at, and that is Talk to the Man.
Yeah, Talk to the Man. We saw Regent Stroll winning that really competitive bumper, of course, at Ascot in late November next season. I think Talk to the Man could be a really good prospect for that exact same race this season. Cost 100,000 as a store, trained obviously by Donica Doyle, who the same source, I suppose, for Paul Nicholls as Brave Man's Game. Talk to the Man, 4-year-old son of Walk in the Park. That victory was in the spring. It was on nicer ground. I love the way he shaped the race. Love the way he jumped with pinpoint accuracy. I'd say, he's not short of pace. Look, he's related to Lord Windermere, Dave, who was all about stamina. But I'd say this horse has a lot of class and has gears. Quite a good jumper, as mentioned. Regent Stroll was so impressive in that Ascot bumper at the end of November last season. This could be a lovely type, certainly to win a bumper, like the one we've mentioned. But for Johnny Delahaye, I think he's purchased privately a really nice horse here. Talk to the Man is one that I think we'll be hearing a lot more of. So yeah, nice horse for Paul Nicholls.
Yes, and I mentioned just there a moment ago about one I really like. I saw him win the other day, the New Lion. You were talking about the Skelton horses. The New Lion won at Chepstow the other day, and I went just wow the way he won. Harry Skelton cruised through the race on the bridle, came to the last, just jumped it all. I was just saying how much more could be left under the bonnet. 2 from 2 under rules, 1 at Chepstow and 1 at Wincanton. I think that the New Lion for me is a very exciting horse.
Yeah, just on, I suppose, obviously the Skeltons, I think you're absolutely right. I think that I see quotes at 25s for the Supreme. Look, I'm not sure if he's that good, but he's certainly a novice, as you said, David, to keep an eye on going forward this season. That's the New Lion. Just back, I suppose, on the British scene, because we will touch on it for a moment. I think the 3, look, the old guard, Nicky Henderson, Paul Nicholls, but I think going forward, for me, the new guard is very much Dan Skelton, Paul Nicholls, and Harry Durham, I think, could have a really good season once again this year. They'd be the 3 trainers in the UK, even with a view to spring festivals, that I would be keeping a close eye on. Obviously the traditionalists, Dave, will be very much looking at Nicky Henderson once again, and Jericho the Rep, and how would he going to get on over fences this year as a novice chaser. Constitution Hill. Look, he obviously is a nice team, Nicky, but I think the 3 that we mentioned, Dan Skelton, I think will take a lot of stopping this season to be the UK trainers champion in the UK, but maybe Willie Mullins might have something to say about that.
Yeah, might have. But the one thing I would say, Dan Skelton, if that show last year recorded about the jump season and the way it progressed and the race for the trainer's title, Dan Skelton, I tell you what, it left a mark. You know how disappointed he was not to win that last year. He's going to
go close this year. Yeah,
he will go very close this year, absolutely. But it's so great to have such a standard of trainer as well coming forward, and it makes it as well, that battle for supremacy to get to the very top. Right, what about Gidley Park? That's a horse that I know you really like.
Yeah, that's number 8 on the list of horses to follow, Dave, and it's the one novice chaser this year. That I'm really looking forward to. 33-1 for the Brown Advisory, if anyone wanted a little bit of a nibble on I suppose, a novice chaser for the year. 6-year-old son of Walk in the Park. I absolutely love what he done in the first part of last season over hurdles. Was really progressive. Was unbeaten going into Cheltenham. I think this could be a phenomenal animal over the larger obstacles. And look, he's achieved the rating of 138 over hurdles. Looking at the size and I suppose the physical of the horse, that's actually quite a high rating for the type of individual that he is. And I'm going to say 30 pounds. I think this could be a 160 plus rated chaser for sure in time. And it was heavy ground in the Albert Bartlett, Dave. They were kind of humming and hawing which way to go. The Albert Bartlett or the Gallagher, a novice hurdle at Cheltenham last year, or the Ballymore as what it was called. It was a messy run race in the Albert Barry. He was very, very keen early. The ground completely went for him and turned heavy overnight, didn't it, on the Thursday evening heading into Friday. The race, was a messy type of race. Newbury, he obviously has Newbury form. The John Frankham novice chase at Newbury, I think, is a race that could be tailor-made as a first season target for Gidley Park this year. But I think he's going to be a top notcher over the larger obstacles. And Harry Fry on the show last year with us, David, he could not wait to have this horse over fences.
Yes, very exciting prospect. Number 9 on the list is going to be a Henry de Bromhead horse we're going to speak about.
Yeah, and Robbie Power obviously has a big part to play, and had a big part to play, and probably still does with 40 coats as the horse. It's now owned by Chris Jones. I'd say there was a couple of hands up for this horse after his point to point. I'm getting Waterford Whispers, Martin Pipe, handicap hurdle vibes about 40 coats. Just looking at connections. Look, I'd say they'll tip away gently in novice hurdles this year with 40 coats. It won a point to point for the Lattas. Robbie Power obviously purchased the horse. And I'd say they'll field their way with 40 coats. Diamond Boy, I think is a sire that we're starting to hear a lot more of, Dave. And the way it won a bumper as well. It's not too often you see a Henry de Bromhead bumper horse winning as impressively as he did at Naas. He doesn't really typically target bumpers, does he, Henry? But I thought this was very, very impressive with the owners. I think it was nephew on board on that occasion at Naas. The form seems to have worked out okay as well. The second was a horse owned by or trained by Tom Mullins. That's come out and finished second at the Punchestown Festival to Don't Stop the Music of Martin Brazzels. And he was raving, I suppose, going into Punchestown at Don't Stop the Music. Had done a nice piece of work with Faster Slow, and he absolutely bolted up by 6 lengths at Punchestown. I think the form is working out okay, and he's definitely a horse, I think, middle distances, maybe spring handicaps. I'd keep a close eye on 40 coats. I think he's a very good animal.
Have you left your most exciting prospect to be number 10?
Number 10, Factifile. Yeah, no, Dave, look, I'm going to stay loyal to him. Look, Galloping the Champ and Factifile. Let's hope we have the big clash. And I just think I'm going to side with the unexposed Factifile here. I was interested. I heard Tony Mullins just speaking on the At the Races show about, he was raving about Factifile heading into Cheltenham last year. We know what Willie thinks of the horse. I love this profile going straight over fences. That's been well documented. The Florida Pearl route, straight over fences. He obviously had point-to-point form, so he had the benefit of that heading into last year. But I suppose the way the horse won the Turners last year, I didn't think the race was run to suit. It was actually quite a slow run race. So I thought he couldn't be any more, given the circumstances and the way the race was run, I don't think he could have been any more impressive than what he actually was. There was a lot of them kind of in contention. It looked like they were in contention coming to the last. I'd say he was just playing with them, pricked his ears, jumped the last phenomenally well, and came up the hill on 2 occasions now. Obviously ran a cracker in the champion bumper as well, in very good style. So, yeah, I have to say I'm just really excited by this horse. I'm believing the hype, Dave. He obviously has to do with an open company. There's mileage, and even more mileage now in Galloping the Champ's legs. There's not in this guy. And McManus has a real nice team of open chasers this year. Spillane Tower, how will he do? He's form linked in, obviously, by beating Monty Star. Factifile obviously had beaten Monty Star at Cheltenham. So that's kind of form linked in. Spillane Tower is a horse I think definitely to keep on the right side of it. I just think Factifile is going to be he's just a different level, isn't he? He's exceptional.
Well, let's hope at the end of the National Hunt season that those 10 will be at the top of their game and will have reached great heights.
Just one for the north, Dave. One to follow in the north of England and by the same sire as, I do believe, no, it's not the same sire, but I think it's been quoted as a very similar type to a High Seigneur. Derry Hasten Paddy centred up, I think, over the weekend in the north of England for Lucinda Russell. I think will win a nice few races, 2.5 miles to 3 miles. Derry Hasten Paddy, little bonus ball for our north of England listeners, Dave.
Excellent. Well, it's time now for us to hear from our very special guest this week.
Boylesports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
Well, we're delighted to have a very special man on the opening show of Champ.ie with us, Sam Ewing. Sam, it's great to have you on the show, firstly. You are one of the big cogs, it's fair to say, in the Gordon Elliott wheel. And it all kind of kicks off for the Gordon Elliott team this weekend, doesn't it? At Down Royal with some big entries.
Yeah, it's getting exciting now. I'm starting to see the good horses come out, and yeah, hopefully we'll kick-start the season on a good note.
For yourself, Sam, obviously, you're going well, banging in the winners, and it must be great to have the opportunities that you have working in such a yard like Gordon's, and obviously having the guidance as well to be working alongside one of the greats in Jack Kennedy.
Yeah, look, I've been more lucky than anything this season that I've just been able to fall into place for Jack when he hasn't been able to ride. So yeah, look, he's a very good friend of mine, and we work closely together, so it's great to be learning off him the whole time.
And Jack, or Sam, I should say, that obviously brings its own pressure when you have to step in, riding these very, very good horses. But I'm sure it's something that you're very much up for the challenge on.
Yeah, well, look, I think you can look at it as pressure or something, you've always wanted to do. This is what you always want. So I think it's something to be looking forward to.
Now let's get into some of the entries for this weekend, and I suppose we'll start off with a couple of the big hitters. Firstly, Gerri Colombe, of course, there'll be much weight on his shoulders this year going forward. How much do you think he has come on since last year? How much more improvement do you think potentially could be left in him this year?
Look, you'd like to think a bit anyway. He was his first open season last year, so I suppose you'd like to see a bit of improvement in him. Did say he will. He's a big strapping horse, and hopefully he'll have stepped forward again.
Of the stable stars this year, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to seeing Brighterdaysahead this year. I'd like to think she's a bit special. Everything she does at home is very impressive. So yeah, her, I think.
Now let's move on to this weekend. Obviously, Down Royal is a big weekend. You've got some cracking rides to look forward to. I thought one of your best chances maybe of the weekend could come in the first race on Friday on board a horse called the Yellow Clay. I thought there was plenty to take from that run last time at Punchestown, and thought this was a good opportunity for the Yellow Clay on Friday, your first mount of the weekend.
Yeah, look, obviously his bumper form is very good. Even he wasn't even beaten far in the champion bumper in Cheltenham. So yeah, I'd say he's an exciting novice hard runner.
Now, you've mentioned Brighter Days Ahead already to us, and Brighter Days Ahead kicks off the season on Friday, of course, in the Grade 3 contest in the Gigginstown colours. It's not a bad race, to say the least. Steady long legs in there for Willie Mullins as well. But you've just said you think this Brighter Days Ahead is quite special.
Yeah, look, it is a competitive Grade 3, but look, she's all class, really. She's the Grade 1 winner in the field, and hopefully Jack tells me how to ride her now.
Of the others on Friday, Firefox has been knocking on the door. This looks a good opportunity. Beginner's chase in the 3:15 at Down Royal.
Yeah, he's always looked to chase her, and he's had great form up to date. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him over a fence.
Sam, just a couple of horses to ask you about. Obviously, Stellar Story gave you a fantastic day last year at Cheltenham, getting up, I suppose, in the Albert Bartlett to win. How's he ahead of the season, and I suppose what did that day mean to you?
Yeah, he's looking good at home. I'd say he'll go novice chasing this year. He's another fine, big, good-looking horse, and he's a lot of scope over hurdles. So I'd be excited to see him over fences as well. Because it was a great buzz that day, and it's the best buzz I've ever had in racing anyway. So yeah, it was a great day. Yeah.
And I suppose, look, obviously he flew the flag last year in terms of Cheltenham Festival novice winners for Gordon. This year with the exciting Jalandari and obviously Romeo Coolio as well. Both rank crackers in the champion bumper. How did they differ? How do they compare to you in terms of their styles of racing? And would you be hopeful from a stable perspective that they can really step up in novice hurdles this year?
Yeah, well, look, them two are both very nice horses. They both obviously have a bit of boot. and a bit of stamina as well to run so well in such a good race. So they're both very exciting, and you'll be looking forward to seeing them.
He Can't Dance is one I saw entered. How does he go at home? Is he a nice type to look forward to, do you think, for the year?
Yeah, he is. He seems very straightforward at home, and everything he does at home he seems to do nicely, all that I've rode of him. So anytime I've rode him, I thought he was a nice horse anyway.
Sam, it was absolutely brilliant having you on the Champ.ie podcast. Very best of luck for the remainder of the season. And I think you're leading the Jockeys Championship at the moment. I'm sure that's a dream of yours someday.
Oh, someday, yeah. Be great, obviously, yeah. Everyone wants to get their hands on that.
The very best of luck, Sam. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Boylesports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
Yes, welcome back, and you are very welcome to the first episode in season 6 of Champ.ie, and what a season we have planned for you. Once again, Gowran Park, Boylesports, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds. Wonderful to have you on board, and plenty to come as well, with Stephen Thorne going to be speaking to Barry very, very soon. But this weekend, Down Royal really kicks us off into the heart of the National Hunt season, and the feature on Saturday, it's mouth-watering, Barry.
Yeah, it certainly is. Gerri Colombe versus Envoy Allen. And look, Envoy Allen has obviously won this race in the past, Dave. It goes particularly well fresh. I have to say I was very disappointed that he didn't go closer in the Ryanair Chase last season. I thought there was a lot in his favour. Gerri Colombe tends to come on for the run, doesn't he? And look, given his style, given his 4 to 7, bit short for me, David. I have to say, I think obviously at the moment we only have 7 runners. You're not getting the 3 places, but in the betting without market, I'd be very much in the camp of Envoy Allen here. 4 to 1, Hewick. Thought, look, he probably will step forward. The grounds will be to his liking as well. Good to yielding ground. If we don't have any further rain, I actually think there's a lot in the favour of Envoy Allen here, and I wouldn't be totally afraid. Look, with Boylesports at the bigger meetings, I'm not sure if it's confirmed this weekend, David, but if it is money back as a free bet, if you're second to the SB favourite at Down Royal this weekend, Envoy Allen is an absolute model with those terms, but just wait for the confirmation of that. But it could well be Down Royal with Boylesports.
Yeah, more than likely will be, and it's a great offer as well. Money back second if you have a bet to the SB favourite with Boylesports on a selected meeting each and every day. I'm kind of the agreement with you that Envoy Allen is going to be very, very interesting in this race, but I can't wait to see who is going to come out to top in the first firing match of the season. Although early in the season, we have to point out, but nonetheless, I'm sure there's a couple in there that are going to be of great interest. Anything else over the weekend at Down Royal, Barry, that you're most looking forward to?
Quite interested in a couple, though, just from a garden perspective. Lakota Blue, should I say, has been bought by Gigginstown after one run on the flat. That goes juvenile hurdling, and that's is entered up on Saturday in that 3-year-old juvenile hurdle for Gordon and Gigginstown. That could be a nice type. I think Lakota Blue. Obviously for Gigginstown, Gordon gave He Can't Dance a big talking up, didn't he? Gordon doesn't really give anything a big talking up, but he gave it quite a positive mention on the Racing Post jumps season preview. Thought that was interesting, and went privately after winning a point-to-point for Rob James. That could be a nice type in the bumper. He Can't Dance, David, named after myself.
More like me.
Well, look, when we get up to EJ Menswear and get kitted out, our dancing moves might improve a little bit. But we'll save that maybe till next Tuesday. Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting for Gordon. They're kind of the two that was most interested in, the two Gigginstown runners in the juvenile hurdle, Lakota Blue and He Can't Dance. But for me, I think Envoy Allen ticks a lot of boxes in the big one on Saturday. And I think, again, as I said, with that offer with Boylesports, if you are getting the money back as a free bet if you're second to the SB favourite, I think Envoy Allen at 100 to 30 now at the moment, to me, looks a bet to nothing really with those terms.
Absolutely. Going to be a fascinating weekend of National Hunt action with Down Royal, of course. Right, we're going to head into our next break. And right after this, Barry is going to be speaking with Shamrock Thoroughbreds Stephen Thorne. And we might even find you a winner on Friday night in Dundalk.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds have taken owners all over the world.
Tiger Bell in front, holds them. Late on the scene is Dawn Charger, storming home, but Tiger Bell in front and one.
Coming through the centre, Laugh a Minute with a strong challenge on this Laugh a Minute, who goes on in the closing stages to win by a length and a half. Laugh a Minute from Fiscal Roots.
But it's Harry's Bar repelling the late challenge of the stable companion Dreams a Day, and Harry's Bar makes it 6 course wins.
Check out ShamrockThoroughbreds.com or click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description to learn more about new racehorse ownership opportunities.
Yes, and Stephen Thorne, of course, the founder of Shamrock Thoroughbreds in 2017. Stephen, brilliant to be teaming up this year, and you're very welcome on your first appearance in the Champ.ie podcast. Could you ever have imagined that Shamrock Thoroughbreds would grow to the level it has?
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Fabulous introduction, and I really like the video. It brings back some memories. Yeah, so look, we've probably 7 or 8 years syndicating racehorses. Initially, sort of to try and grow and develop the stable, but the syndicate has just really taken off the last couple of years. We've over 100 shareholders involved across 12 to 15 horses there. So it's growing all the time. Obviously, we've had to adapt and change to the demand from different markets internationally. The flat markets, are very competitive. So we've had to change our approach the last couple of years. But it's grown from one horse, family and friends involved initially, local farmers in the area. And I've got people all over the world, America, Australia, people involved from Dubai, plenty in the UK and all across Ireland.
Yeah, and I know you're a proud County Dublin man. Now, not too far from Dundalk. Obviously, we'll touch upon the runners, of course, later on in the show. But I suppose, look, your background in racing, Stephen, obviously, I know you've worked overseas, etc. And now, Stephen Thorne Racing, obviously the new training operation. It must be really exciting times for yourself.
Yeah, it's obviously, working in the industry for 17 years, nearly half my life. I've got a great grounding. Worked for plenty of international trainers, Rafe Beckett, Mike DeCock, and obviously my association with Aidan McGuinness the last 7 or 8 years. A Godolphin Flying Start graduate, and obviously we've done an equine business degree in Maynooth, which served me well too. So look, we've got all the skills sets required to train racehorses. Now we just need a bit of luck and we need some support, and hopefully now we'll be able to get a couple of winners on the board throughout the winter months at Dundalk, and fingers crossed then we'll be able to get the support that we need to grow the stable.
And you've really, I suppose, look, it's very important to touch upon the success. Look, we were putting together, obviously, the introduction, etc., and we've kind of been liaising back and forth. But, from Dundalk to Paris Longchamp, from Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, group winners such as Tiger Bell, current option. I mean, what a money spinner he's been. Over 460, I think I counted, €1,000 in prize money. And Harry's Bar, I mean, where do we start with Harry's Bar? 15-time winner in his life.
Yeah, no, they're all great soldiers that have served us very well. Some of them names you've mentioned there, you could go on and on and on. And I think we've had I've done up the list there. I do it maybe once a year. I think we've had 80 or 90 flat winners, domestically and internationally. As you mentioned, we've taken horses to France, Saudi, Dubai, and the Breeders' Cup. So yeah, our owners have travelled all over the world with these horses, and it's a great opportunity for people to get involved. I love people coming in, taking a small share, and then all of a sudden they're taking maybe a leg of a horse or maybe their own horse. So it's a gateway to get involved and dip your toe in the water, see how you get on. Obviously, not every horse that that I'm going to buy is going to win, but we try our best, trying to source these horses, and yeah, we've had plenty of success. There's plenty there that haven't done a job, but not many. And
I suppose the brand, look, just even the brand and obviously the logo. You mentioned overseas. I mean, it's the success that you've had is very much international. Like so, the Irish or the tricolour, I suppose, resonates all around the world with lots of different people. For our listeners listening into the show today, I suppose the one question I really wanted to ask you is, from being on the ground, what do your members tell you is the best thing about owning a racehorse?
I suppose the communication, I pride myself with the communication. Everyone is up to date, what's happening with the horses each week, what the plans are. I always, put plenty of effort and time into communicating with the owners. We've got a great system through our various WhatsApp groups, which flows very well, video footage, etc. And I think the lads enjoy the journey of that, the actual training, because there will be bumps in the road. Not everything will go smoothly. Race horses, they're very delicate animals, and as I said, just keeping the owners up to date is very important. Obviously, the race day experience is, if an owner can be there, on a day when his horse wins, you can't beat that feeling at the races. So yeah, I think it's a package, and I sell it as a fun and enjoyment. It's a social outing, and there's a great network of people involved through my syndicates that lads connect, and great friendships have been formed through this syndicate, and that's what I pride myself on too. The success is obviously a big part of it, but the people that are behind Shamrock Thoroughbreds, the people that are behind me, supporting me, they're the ones that that can drive me forward and go out to try and find the next good horse.
Talk to us about share sizes with Shamrock Thoroughbreds, and how do people actually get involved?
Yeah, so it's an equity share model, really. People can get involved from 1% and upwards. Mainly most of my syndicates are sort of 5%, 10% shares, but in recent years I've kind of broken it down, because we are buying a better quality horse. It's costing us a little bit more to buy those horses with the international demand that's for them. So I'll sell shares from 1% and upwards in most of my stock, and yeah, it works very well. I include obviously a package with the training fees for the 12 months, and everything's very transparent. Then at the end of the 12-month period, everyone gets a full breakdown. But I think putting together the equity share in a particular horse and the training fees for the 12-month period, it's a great journey then that people can go on, and you're not sort of every month looking for another few quid for this month's fees, or another few quid for the next month's fees. So everything's everyone's sort of locked in for the 12 months, and they can enjoy the ride.
Let's talk about obviously Friday night, Dundalk, Friday night lights. Not too far from where I'm recording at the moment, Stephen, but four runners entered up on Friday. You have runners obviously on Sunday as well, or entered on Sunday. Talk us through your runners this weekend.
Yeah, so tomorrow evening, the first race, the 5 furlong maiden, we have a filly there called Bancha Bell by Cote Glory. We paid 90,000 for this year's Doncaster Breeze Up sale. She had a few little hold-ups along the way. I thought she would have been out a lot sooner than her debut run 42 days ago. She finished 6th. Billy Lee rode her, got off her and said that wouldn't be afraid to drop back down to 5. She'll come forward plenty for the run, and that's what we've seen since in her sort of last couple of bits of work. We've been very happy with her. Ronan sat on her there last week and was delighted with her. So Ronan takes the sit on her tomorrow from stall 3. Good draw. 13 runners. She'll have an each way chance, please God. The sprint, then we've got 2 on the sprint. Our old favourites, our old warriors, Harry's Bar and Dream Today. Harry's Bar, Ronan Whelan rides him, drawn in stall 2, great draw. Always likes to ride the rail. The horse is always better with a horse on his outside. So Dream Today, another one there, drawn in stall 1. Rory Cleary won on him there late last year, so he takes the ride on him, and both horses are fresh and well. And I'm expecting big efforts for those 2 tomorrow. And then we have Perfect Judgment then in the mile handicap at 7 o'clock. The 0.80 mile handicap it is. Very unlucky in the stall the last day he ran. Just got blocked down the rail and just didn't get a clean run at them. So I'm hoping back to the all-weather surface where he won earlier in the year. And we're stepping up a furlong and trip. So if he stays, I think he'll go very close.
Yeah, Harry's Bar been in real decent form of late, hasn't he, as well? And you mentioned obviously the filly, which Bancha Bell. Thought that was a really eye-catching run. So the very best of luck on second run, Stephen, for Bancha Bell this weekend. I suppose of those four, we might touch upon Sunday's entries in a moment. But of those four, what would you think is your best chance?
Yeah, I'm going to probably side with. I'm usually a terrible tipster, but I'm going to side with my old favourite Harry's Bar. I think he's well weighted. He's down to a very good mark. Obviously not getting any younger. He had a bit of a hold up there in the springtime. We had to give him the summer off, but he's come back fresh as paint, and had a great run down in Laytown. Didn't quite see out the trip with Patrick. He tried his, to sit on the horse as long as he could. I just don't think he see out the 7 furlongs down there. And then we dropped him back to 5, and he's only touched off by Valiant Force the last day in a conditions race. He's race that he's won three of the last 4 renewals of that race. He was just touched off, and Valiant Force ran well in the Mercury last week, finished 4th, I think, or 5th. So that form is looking, stacking up well. So yeah, he's on a good mark, and respect him to go close tomorrow, please God.
On Sunday, you likely to have money runners?
Yeah, again, ground will probably be testing, so I'm only going to run what's going to sort of handle the ground. So Laugh a Minute was third last week in Navan, and he'll go for the 5 furlong handicap. A horse that won back in the springtime, a 9-year-old, not getting any younger, but he kind of went missing on us there throughout the summer months because the ground was too quick, and he was on a career, nearly almost a career high rating this summer. So he has dropped back down to a very winnable mark now as a result of an average summer, and finished a good third last week at Navan, staying on strongly. So there'll be plenty of juice in the ground on Sunday, which he'll enjoy, and looking forward to him. I think he'll run a big race. Never Shout Never is another horse that's been quite disappointing for me, and he's a horse that has talent, but just on race day, he can be a little bit temperamental, and he can blow his chances in the preliminaries and stuff like that. So look, things will have to go right for him. He'll handle a bit of juice in the ground. He has good current form from last year, so if he can put it together, he's very well handicapped. So that there's a 2 in the sprint, and a fresh horse that I bought in July, goes for the mile Premier handicap, Gleneagle Bay. We bought him from the Jokes O'Brien camp, and this horse has done nothing but impress me since he came in. He's been thriving there the last couple of weeks. Just touched off on Champions Weekend.
What's the name, Stephen?
Gleneagle Bay.
Bay.
So yeah, he's a fine horse by Gleneagles. And yeah, very much looking forward to him on Sunday. He's been working well. As I said, just touched off on Champions Weekend. Obviously, the first time he'll be running with sort of juice in the ground, but his action suggests that he'll handle some cut. And we're obviously stepping him up to a mile as well. Obviously, the last day was 7, but I want to test this horse out this weekend and see what we have. Because if he does handle the weekend, the trip and the ground, etc., we'll probably be aiming him at an Irish or an English Lincoln next spring.
Brilliant, Stephen. Wish you the very best of luck on Friday and on Sunday. Plenty of interest, and we, I suppose, at Champ.ie really are looking forward to following the journey, not just this winter, but into the spring as well. So really looking forward to I suppose, getting weekly updates from yourself on the runners, and very best of luck to not just Harry's Bar, but the whole team at Shamrock Thoroughbreds this upcoming weekend. Stephen, brilliant to have you on.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed that very insightful piece with Stephen Thorne and Barry, and good luck to Shamrock Thoroughbreds with all their runners this weekend and going into the future. We're going to hear lots from him as the Fridays progress from Dundalk. Right, we're coming to the end of the show, but as always, we are going to come to the most important point in trying to find you a winner on the first show of Season 6 on Champ.ie. And Barry, I'm firstly going to give you the floor.
Yeah, we'll find you a winner. Look, I'm hoping certainly 2 out of 3, as Meatloaf would say, we'll go very, very close in this lot, Dave. And look, let's keep it simple. Couple of the horses to follow this season we're going to mention in this section as well. Let It Rain. She's down to go Wetherby Saturday at 12:40. There will be geldings involved as well. I don't think that'll be an issue to her. As mentioned, she's taken on the opposite sex in the past. I think she could shape up and to be the leading Mayor's Novice contender from the UK this season, and I think she's quite smart. Let's Let It Rain in the 12:40 at Saturday at Wetherby. The other one in the north, the little bonus ball, David, Derry Hasten Paddy runs, I think it's the opening race on Saturday at Ayr. I think for Lucinda Russell, that can make it 2 from 2 over hurdles. A 7-length winner on debut over hurdles. Son of Arctic Cosmo, I think, is quite a smart horse, and certainly one for chasing down the line, but should be very much capable of going in again over hurdles this weekend. And one, a little juicy one, and imagine you get a price on this, David, the 250 at Cork on Sunday. Credit Control for Eddie Cawley. I'd say this could be well treated as well. So there you go. That's my lot. 3 for the weekend, Dave.
Yeah, the one for me this weekend is going to be in the Jigginstown colours for Gordon Elliott and Sam Ewing. Runs in the 1:30 on Friday. Speculatrix. It was going to sluice up at Killarney before coming down, and I think it could be a very, very, very good horse. And Speculatrix is my nap pick on Friday and for the weekend, Baz.
Yeah, and you really like this new line as well for the season, Dave. That's your... Any other horses to follow from yourself? Anything else stick out for you? Looking ahead to a busy and exciting National Hunt season.
Yeah, look, I was very impressed last week with Johnny who won for JP McManus, John O'Neill in the 3-runner race last week. And it wasn't so much, it was the manner in which he won. John O'Neill at one stage just said, this and that. But he came to the last, he popped it, and it was like whoosh. It was really, really impressive. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Look, no matter what you're looking forward to this season, the National Hunt is back. It is cracking. Season 6, episode 1 of Champ.ie. We can't wait for another 54 or so shows to bring you. And it's going to be a cracker, Barry.
Just to mention as well, Dave, the last Thursday of every month is our monthly prize draw. And November, the last Thursday, is our first prize draw of the season. What do our viewers need to do? Comment your one jumper to follow down below and tell us why. Give us a little bit of the engagement last year was brilliant in both the Cheltenham show and obviously our Thursday shows as well. 55 episodes scheduled for the season. Gowran Park will be down there, of course, for Thyestes Day, live show on Thyestes Day, and Red Mills Chase Day, and Shamrock Chase Day as well. Last year, our the very first ever, I think, Thyestes preview night was run on the Tuesday before the Thyestes. We'll do that again this year, getting a lot of local guests in from the southeast of Ireland. So really looking forward to that once again. And special guests every single week, every Thursday. And the Road to Cheltenham Challenge, it does kick off on the first show is scheduled for next Monday, Dave. A little bit of a teaser there for those looking to get their AntePost Cheltenham selections in. Lots to look forward to, and we look forward on Tuesday, Dave, to heading up to the west.
Yes, we do. And that's it from us for this week. Have a great week, and hopefully you find lots of winners this weekend.